welcome back to this week's episode of the KeenGamer podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Shamillard, and we've got a great show for you this week. But first, let's introduce the panel. Welcome back to the show, Mark O'Callahan. Welcome back, Mark.
I don't know why, but as soon as you said, but first, I was thinking of Big Brother.
Yeah, sometimes they say but first, and I think about people walking backwards. I don't know why. Uh, also, welcome back to the show, Noah Rosenthal. Welcome back, Noah.
Thank you, Kyle. Good to be here.
Awesome. So we are going to break down the games we're playing, which is going to be a little bit of Horizon, some more Halo Infinite, as well as some more talk about Sifu. We'll go into the news of the week, which is the Wii U and 3DS eShops are closing down, as well as the return of Cyberpunk 2077. And at the very end of this show, we're going to recap, or we're going to go through our personal picks for our favorite protagonists. The topic this week is kind of inspired by Aloy herself, who I think is maybe one of the best characters of the past decade. We'll go through it all here today, though. First, I'm about an hour into the new Horizon Zero Dawn game, which is not even called Zero Dawn. It's called Horizon Forbidden West. And Mark is a little bit farther than I am. But I want to ask Mark, what are your initial impressions of the new game that came out on Friday?
I'm writing the review for KeenGamer, and right now, it's an amazing game.
Yeah, and I will say up front, I think that we're going to go into kind of spoiler territory of the first game. It did come out in 2017, and now that the sequel is out, I imagine anybody who's listening to this probably has played the first game. There are timestamps in the podcast description, so if you want to avoid all spoilers at all costs, you can always skip ahead a little bit. But Mark, what has been impressing you the most so far?
And let me just say about like spoilers from the first game, like they drop you in. It takes place a couple months after Zero Dawn, so if you're expecting like, oh, they do give you a recap kind of, and you can always read like the character bios just to get like information from the first game. But either play the first game or just watch a recap video. But anyway,
I will say as well, if you are looking to replay the first game and kind of just like get through it without all the side stuff, and I know Mark and I have talked about the collectibles and the hunting grounds in the first game and how tedious those can be. My partner just started a new game plus on the base game 3 days ago, and she's already at the last boss. So you can mainline the story of Horizon Zero Dawn in a couple of days if you avoid, side quests and other odds and ends. But right off the bat, for me, it's the visuals. This has to be one of the prettiest games I ever played, and I think it's worth mentioning as well, we are both playing on PS5, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're both playing on PS5. There is a PS4 version of the game, which I think looks pretty good as well. It looks actually just like a notch beneath the PS5 version. But when I started playing, I instantly changed my settings to frames over fidelity. I'm not sure about you, but I much prefer 60 frames over the 4K resolution.
Same here. If I got a 4K like 60 frame per second TV or whatever my specs are, and a PlayStation 5, I had to go with the specs.
Yeah, 100%. So the visuals are great, but I definitely enjoy. I wasn't expecting the game to kind of pick up shortly after the first game. Because for people like Mark and myself and any other player, it's been 7 years. But the game treats it as if it's been almost just a few months after the events of the first game, which is kind of interesting. I didn't really expect that. How about you?
I was kind of expecting it, but it's like, okay, it'll take shortly after. But they really drop you into it.
Yeah. And without like getting into too many details, like, are you able to say like kind of how far you are? Because I did the first mission with Varl, essentially. And that's how far I've gotten. But does the game open up a bit more? Because what I've seen so far has been incredibly linear.
It does open, like I got through the opening credits, which are stunning, and I can't wait. There's a song that plays, and I went on Spotify.
Yeah.
So beautiful. But like it kind of opens up, like you're in this small little village and there's a lot of side quests. But I feel like the game hasn't like really, really opened up yet.
I think I've read on Twitter that it might take around 5 to 7 hours for the game to actually go into open world mode. I think I've read that there's kind of the first linear mission. There's kind of a hub area, which I think is kind of what you're describing right now. And then after more missions there, you kind of break into the Forbidden West and you have all of that area to explore finally.
Like, technically, I am in the Forbidden West.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, interesting. I recorded. I did a let's play thing for my first hour, so I was talking over narrative beats. After this podcast, when I restart my file and become a potato on the couch for the rest of the day, I will restart my file. But I am curious about like the geography of everything. Because is this one taking place in San Francisco? Is that the
San Francisco, yes. Even Vegas, I heard. I didn't see any
Oh.
pictures, but they've been really advertising the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, I think that's on like the front cover, which I have my lucky special edition of the game right here,
Ooh.
which comes with a soundtrack as well as an art book, which is pretty cool. Um, when it comes to like some of the new features of Horizon, the one thing that I've seen so far that was a little jarring for me was like the grappling hook, which they have a fancy name for it. They call it like the pole shot,
Polecaster?
the pole caster. So there's a room early on in the game, and there's a giant gap, and it wanted me to jump across the gap and then hit X to use the grappling hook to kind of like gap the distance between me and the ledge so I could hold on to it. And it took me about 10 minutes to figure out how to use that grappling hook mechanic. Did you have any issue with that at all at first, or was it pretty intuitive for you?
It's pretty good. I feel like the grappling hook, like bowcaster, is kind of like a common mechanic in
Mm-hmm.
open world games.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's that familiarity, but it in one part there's like a little double jump,
Okay.
which you do like you like once you get to the ledge, you like jump up even more with a button, but I don't know how to do that yet, or just
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to do it from memory.
Yeah, it was definitely like hard to ignore the grappling hook in this game in the first half an hour and be like, oh, Halo Infinite has a grappling hook. Horizon Zero Dawn has a grappling hook now. Like, it is just the item of the generation, I think. When we look back on the PS5 and Xbox Series X, we'll say, man, there was really quick loading times and there was a lot of grappling hooks in these games.
And also that Game Pass, yada yada. But yeah,
Yeah,
grappling
Game
hooks.
Pass. Yeah. And I will say as well, there's underwater exploration in this game. And the first time I hopped into water and I started doing the underwater swimming, I was immediately filled with anxiety and dread because I really feel like, and I said this before, if you go back to 1999 Super Mario 64 and you go underwater, the controls for that game are almost the exact same still in Forbidden West when you're underwater as a character. Like the weird 360 controls, the inverted up and down, even oxygen bar that's like always lowering. I almost drowned in a puddle in the first half an hour of Forbidden West. It was very embarrassing. Um, did you have any issue with the swimming at all, or is that pretty easy for you to pick up?
You know, I haven't really explored it yet
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like there is a new gadget that you get,
Ooh, that'll
which
help me
I've
out a lot.
seen, which I've seen like in the advertising, like you'll go like further underwater, so it's not like a pain.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay,
I'm kind of waiting for that moment.
yeah, that'll be good to have. A question for Noah, because I know you enjoy open worlds, but you tend to enjoy more of the RPG open worlds, correct?
Correct.
Does like an action adventure one intrigue you at all, or are you usually looking for the games where you kind of help dictate the story?
I'd be intrigued by action adventure. I mean, you might say Fallen Order is more that than something where you choose stuff.
Yeah, that's a really good point because I know how much of a fan of Fallen Order you are. I think if you ever saw the first game for a good price, which is it's now on PC, unfortunately, it's still not on Xbox or anything else besides Sony. But I'd be really curious, as like kind of one of the open world experts I know, what you would think about the world they've created and the objectives and the characters and everything else like that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to try it.
Yeah. So Mark, you're working on the review for this. I know you're
Mhm.
not I know it's really hard to give a number on something, but if you're like quickly off the record, give it a score off your first 3 hours experience, 4 hours. Is there anything you could tease us with, or
At least a 9.
at least a nine? Okay.
Maybe
So
9.5. Like the only 10 I ever gave for the site, or maybe just like ever, of reviewing was Midnight Mass on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
That's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I actually still haven't watched Midnight Mass. I really want to, but I never got around to it. So if Mark's review comes out and you see a 5 or a 6, something terrible has gone wrong at the midpoint of this game. We'll see.
I discovered Underwater and it just went.
It became a first-person battle royale halfway through. It became really weird. Like, I don't know. All of a sudden, I was on an online server. There was 100 Aloys running on an island, shooting each other with bows and arrows. It was awful.
And then Sony listens to this and just goes,
wait a minute.
Wait a second. Battle royales are cool.
Yeah. I will say, just kind of off the cuff, I was at the movie theater recently, and I before they play Uncharted, they actually do this really cool like Sony reel before the movie. So I got to see Aloy on the big screen for a second. I got to see Astrobot on the big screen for a second before Uncharted. I thought that was like a really cool thing because there's probably so many people seeing that movie who have no idea who any of these people are. But I don't know. They had like a little thing playing that made me wonder, man, Sony might be like making movies for a lot of their franchises moving forward.
Is it weird that I got most excited for Astrobot?
Yeah, me too.
No, it's not weird.
It's not weird. I was the exact same because I love him. He's a great mascot. His games are amazing, and I think more people should be playing them.
I thought it was a her.
A her. Well, we'll say it. We'll say it just to keep it safe. Light spoilers for the first game or for the new game. Sorry. I saw my first new machine, like one of the machines that's not in the original game, and that is I think they're the burrowers. Is that what they're called?
It's kind of like they have like the rays they're like pew, 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 like seeking. They kind of feel like the Watchers from the first one.
Yeah, but they're able to dig into the ground. They remind me of like prairie dogs almost.
Aw.
Have you seen them dig into the ground yet?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So the first time that happened, it surprised me, and I was like, is this like Timon from like Timon and Pumbaa? Like, what animal is this supposed to be, and why do I want one in my house so badly?
Horizon universe mix of Lion King. Sony, we're giving you ideas.
Yep.
Battle royales, movies.
I was thinking about this last night. If there was an animal that you could see as a machine in this game, like what do you think would be a cool one to encounter?
T-Rex.
T-Rex. So yeah, we're doing actual dinosaur machines, all that stuff.
And you might say, no, Mark, that's ridiculous. T-Rex is technically not an animal. And I say we're talking about mechanical beasts. We're past ridiculous.
Yeah, no, we're talking about video games. We can do whatever we want. For some reason, I was thinking last night, if there's all these like underwater moments in the game, it'd be kind of cool if you're like underwater and like a mechanical whale would like kind of just like swim by, like just something like not even something that you need to fight, just something that exists in the environment would be so cool.
Can I just say this? I discovered like last night when I was playing, Aloy might be the most relatable protagonist in my opinion for me.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit of a spoiler. So she gets some flack early on because at the end of the first game, she leaves the celebration without any goodbyes. And everyone's kind of like, hey, you kind of like left without saying goodbye. Aloy gets disrespect for pulling the Irish goodbye. I am a firm believer of the Irish goodbye.
Yeah. You leave without saying goodbye to anyone, right? Like that's the move.
Goodbyes are too tough, so I just abandon everyone.
You're at a party with 100 people. You want me to say goodbye individually to 100 people?
Listen, no. I'll say goodbye to the king and I'll leave.
Yeah. No, and they did mention that in what I've played where Varl's like, hey, we're all like kind of upset at you because we had this big party for you because you saved the freaking world and you left without having any cake. Like, what the hell? And then Aloy, and it's so believable as her as a character. She's like, I have other stuff to do. Like, I don't have time to sit down and party and celebrate. Like, she is very, sometimes I think to her detriment, where it's like hard to connect with her as a character for me, where she has a hard time just relaxing and having fun. I played about 80 hours of the first game, and she cracks smiles. She'll tell like sarcastic jokes, but she's not like, like telling knock jokes. I don't expect that from her at all, but there is definitely like a lack of humor that I do find hard to connect with Aloy.
I can see that.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to just digging into this game today. I've had a busy weekend, so I think today is a day where I just sit down, get a couch, bag of chips, and just play like 5 hours straight of this thing. I can't wait, honestly.
And I think the one thing I really love about Forbidden West, what a sequel for a video game should do, is not be exactly like the first game.
Yeah.
Of course, there's similar DNA, all your weapons, but it treats you like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I feel like the first mission was a good, like, all right, this is kind of like a tutorial thing, eases you in. But like when I was discovering, like, if you mount a beast, like in the first game, you would have to unlock many skills to automatically just call the beast.
Yeah, it was
but
like,
now you can just automatically do that. I'm like, oh, that's convenient.
yeah, and there was something else in the opening hour. There's a bunch of traps that you find that you're able to dismantle, and I was like, that was like an hour 40 skill perk that you got in the base game, and now you just have it at the start of this one, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super into it. Even like you and I both recently played the first game. Simple things like picking up resources from down machines is totally different. Now you're more like picking and choosing what you're picking up. There is a collect all button, which is kind of handy. But they changed enough where despite putting 80 hours into the first game over the last month, it's feeling like a fresh experience, which, Guerrilla Games is just, they put a lot of time and effort into this thing, and it's really showing. And I'm only 50 minutes into it. So go ahead.
I can't wait for the new weapons. And when you craft the polecaster, there's 3 other like little things that like, you got to discover in the story. I feel like one, just from speculation, is something to help you during underwater, like some breathing. But the other 2, I'm like, ooh, what is it?
Yeah. No, I'm excited. The last thing I want to shout out is the haptics in the PS5 controller feel really good for this game.
They do. And some of the things with like the DualShock, because I remember when I was on talking about Zero Dawn, that was the thing I was most excited about. And granted, have you played Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart?
I have not.
So I don't know how the DualShock is for that one. So I feel like this is the first like true juggernaut of the PS5.
Yeah.
And it feels subtle, but you can notice it.
Exactly. In the opening cutscene, you're watching Aloy kind of make her way through a storm, and the controller is like shaking in a way that's like not distracting, but genuinely made me feel like I was in that storm.
Like anytime you're on like material, like if you're going up towers, like you can feel like the vibrations of it. That like something like feels unnatural about it compared to like the glass.
Yeah.
And then of course the bow mechanics. Like you can feel like the draw, and even like the slaying has a little resistance to it.
And it just adds a little bit of immersion to the game that like I think I underestimated when I first got my PS5, but now that I've played games like this, the PS5 version of Control did a lot of this stuff as well, really well with the trigger resistance and the controller shaking differently depending on what material you're walking on. Like subtle stuff like that goes a long way, and I just definitely want to shout that out as well.
And I can't wait to play with the official PlayStation 5 like headset.
Yes.
With the 3D audio, like how noticeable is that? Like all the environmental things.
Yeah, I played with headphones when I did play, and even like having Varl talking to me on this side while there's a waterfall on the left side of my headphones, like it does immerse you with that 360 sound in a really cool way.
That's cool.
Before we move on, Mark, any last minute thoughts or things you want to highlight about Horizon Forbidden West?
Guys, if you do an Irish goodbye, don't let anyone shame you.
Yeah. If Aloy, if she can do it, we can do it too.
Yes.
Moral of the story.
That's the lesson of video games. If a video game character does it, why can't I?
That's why I go around stomping on Goombas all the time. I don't know.
Is Goombas a Canadian thing?
Yeah, that's what we call beavers. I don't
know. All those Goomba dams.
Yeah, back in my day when I had to go to school, I had to hop across 50 Goombas just to get there. So that's somehow going to be a wrap on our Horizon Forbidden West conversation.
We're going to shift. If you have a PlayStation 5, definitely buy it.
This is a must-have, and like my concern right now is trying to play it before Elden Ring in 5 days. I'm a little worried about having too many pots in the fire in a couple of weeks, but we'll see how it all goes. we are going to shift over to Noah, who has been our Halo Infinite expert. And I believe you wanted to talk a little bit more about kind of like the character customization process and the battle pass and stuff like that.
Yeah, so it's kind of confusing in Halo Infinite. They give you kind of free armor sets that are each in accordance with a different like style of playing. Like if the only one that I have access to right now is the one that everybody does, and there's another that you get for being a member of their subscription pay,
Hmm.
and there's one you get for like another DLC kind of thing that's paid, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not spending money to to play Halo Infinite,
Do you have
but
like
on Game
a
Pass.
do you have like a rough estimate about like the US dollar price of like a set?
Um, yeah, I'm really not sure.
Mm,
Yeah, because I've never actually looked at
of
it because I've
course.
never been interested in purchasing it.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah, so you can kind of unlock things like a normal game. Like you play, you get a new helmet, you get new shoulders and all that, but it's so limited. And I play wanting to look like me. Like
Hmm.
I would just recreate my Halo Reach Spartan, but I need to get the Reach Battle Pass, I think it's called for that. And I'm like, yeah, it's not worth that.
You have to get like the battle pass for Halo Reach, or there's a specific Halo Reach battle pass in Halo Infinite you have to buy.
The latter.
Oh wow, okay.
I've never looked into it too much because I know like I'm not doing that just to
Yeah,
look the way I want to look.
yeah. And we were talking before we went live, and like my personal stance on this is I'm playing a first person game. I don't care what I look like because I'm not seeing myself ever. I can spend real life dollars so other people can be impressed by my cat ears or my halo or whatever, but that doesn't benefit my game at all. It's not making me claim zones faster or get kills faster. So that's my personal stance, and I'm with you. I dropped money into Overwatch. That was the game I kind of was in on the loot box of it all. But when I see a store for a game like Battlefield or Halo, I just skip that page entirely.
Yeah, same here. To me, in multiplayer matchmaking experiences like that, whenever there's some sort of like you have to be a certain level to earn a certain item. To me, that's like it's like they're incentivizing playing in a way besides just the game being
Hmm.
fun. Like it shows a
Totally.
lack of confidence in the game itself,
Yeah.
and I just don't respect that. The best player customization I've ever experienced, believe it or not, was ESO,
Oh,
where
cool.
you have every single player character looking completely different from each other. Then it
Hmm.
was great. Now you have your armor and your look was separated from the material, which I believe it or not, I hope they do in future Elder Scrolls games.
Hmm.
Like I like that you can look how you want without it compromising your armor's ability to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can color it. You dye it different colors, and it was really cool. Very well done customization.
I've seen like multiple times where like when you start a Halo multiplayer match, it will like kind of camera will zoom in on every individual player and like be like this person's playing, and the amount of times that's done that and every single person's just wearing the exact same skin is very funny to me. I actually like really enjoy that.
Yeah, the skins are weird to me. I don't get why they wouldn't just let you choose your colors. Like at
Yeah,
the very least, like I can't choose my armor. Let me be the black rose colors. I
yeah,
want my crimson red, gunmetal green, and then black.
yeah. Like, would it be hard for them to add a color wheel that you just like
Right.
slide and choose the shading, and you have a nice unique skin color almost that people would recognize maybe?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, just let like at the very least, like let me pick my colors, man.
Yeah. And I totally agree with your point that it almost feels like a lack of confidence on 343's part, where they're like, okay, we got to have these daily challenges and these bonus
Right.
experience things and these daily grind missions so people keep playing our game, not because it's fun and that people love Halo. It's because they want to grind for the new pink pants for Master Chief. I don't know.
Yeah, or the cat ears.
Cat
Yeah.
ears. Like I would probably grind for cat ears. The things I would do for cat ears, I won't mention on this podcast. But, Mark, do you have any thoughts about like kind of this like culture and these online games using outfits to make players play more of the game that they might not want to, or they do.
Is there actually hot pink pants in Halo Infinite? Because if it is, I'm buying an Xbox.
I can't recall anyone being pink, actually. Maybe
Yeah.
there's not a pink color wheel.
Yeah, I'm waiting for
Well,
parachute pants. That's all.
Yeah.
Once Master Chief has parachute pants, I'll be all in.
once Halo goes to the 90s style.
Yes.
But I feel like outfits, unless it is for a superhero game, because I like that variety. Like, oh, this is from that series, or this is from like that variation.
Yeah.
I won't say like Marvel's Avengers. No, not really, because that's just I'm not gonna say different kind of grinding. It's like, no, you gotta just pay for that. And it's like, really?
Yeah.
But something like Injustice, where you have to grind, I mean, you can pay monetization, but if you just grind, yeah, it's worth the reward.
Yeah, totally. And unfortunately, like Halo doesn't have that much like visual medium to pull back from. Like it could have like, oh, here's a reference to one of the Halo novelizations, but many people won't probably pick up on that, right?
Yeah, I'd say most players probably have not read the books.
It'd be really cool though if like Halo had skins that are like, hey, here's here's the commander from Halo 2's outfit. Here is this character's outfit. Like that'd be really sweet.
Yeah, so with one of the battle passes, there actually are characters from Halo Reach that you can look like, but that's paid. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to look like them. I want to look like me.
Yeah.
I want my Halo Reach armor.
Yeah. As somebody who like will casually play Fortnite, I never pay for the battle pass, but I do enjoy how that game, it seems to like over reward you for playing. Like I'll hop into a couple matches and then all of a sudden I have like 7 unlocks, and I think that feels pretty good. But from what I know for Halo, I'm pretty sure you have to play at least like 4 or 5 to get a unlock sometimes.
Yeah, and usually I don't like what I get when I'm playing.
Yeah.
Like I see this helmet, I'm like, I don't want to wear this. It looks like something a background character would wear.
Do you know if Halo are they handing out random items upon like leveling up, or is it fixed like when you reach level 8 you get this specific helmet, when you reach level 9 you get this specific skin?
Yeah, honestly, I'm really not sure.
Okay.
What I know is I get something when I level up.
Yeah.
And usually I don't like it anyway.
While we're talking about Halo and appearances, I have to ask you, Noah. I think it was revealed yesterday in an interview with Jeff Keighley that in the Halo TV show, I guess Master Chief's face will be prominently featured, which is like something that the games never do. They never really have him outside the helmet. Does that make you look forward to this show more, or look forward to it less, knowing that Master Chief will be more of a character with his helmet off and stuff?
So unfortunately, I'm in agreement with what most people have said about the show so far. I see it pretty negatively.
It just got renewed for season 2 already. It hasn't even started yet.
It just seems like nothing's going right.
Yeah.
Leaving canon, showing Master Chief's face, but listening to this weird rendition of "Coming in the Air Tonight."
Yeah, the weird Cortana.
Yeah, the weird Cortana. It's just not coming together well.
Yeah.
And Pablo Schreiber as Master Chief is unfortunate.
Yeah. No, I'm cautiously optimistic for the Halo TV show. As somebody who is like a very casual fan, I could probably go into it and get something out of it. As somebody who knows what they're talking about, I'd be more skeptic for sure.
Yeah, so you asked me about showing Master Chief's face. I will touch on that a bit. Well, first, let me ask you, like, what I had heard was they'd show it like when he was a child, but you're saying they'll show it like as Master Chief.
Well, if you want to theorize for a second, let me pull up the actual Jeff Keighley tweet here. Jeff with 2 Fs. In an interview with IGN, it was confirmed that Master Chief will be unmasked in the Halo series and you will see his face. Doesn't say anything about baby Halo.
Okay. Yeah, so I'd be okay with it like as a child prior to that mask going on. Mm-hmm. But the second that mask is on, no, you cannot show his face. That's a huge mistake because you lose the whole symbolism of it. Like the idea is that he could be anyone. It's a message telling kids playing Halo, anyone can be a hero. You can do what Master Chief does. And if that mask comes off, then and that's ruined.
Yeah. It creates like a bridge of disbelief between you and the character, being like, oh wait, no, that's what he looks like, and that's not what I look like. So I actually am having a hard time relating to Master Chief now.
I like to imagine myself as Master Chief, but there
Yeah.
are descriptions of him actually in the book. Apparently, he's pale with some brown freckles, and I'm a pretty dark skinned man, so that doesn't really work out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be curious. Like, I think there's a world where, like, The Mandalorian kind of does this, right? Where they have a mostly masked main character who will occasionally take it off. And when they do, I think it's usually pretty effective. So I think as long as they're not, like, doing it too much or, like, relying on Pedro Pascal's, not Pedro Pascal, Pablo Schreiber's face to, like, have emotive scenes and, like, cry as Master Chief, then that'll be interesting.
No, but Master Chief cannot cry.
Yeah, no, he's not allowed to cry. No emotions for you, Master Chief. So that's going to be it for our weekly Halo chat. It's very interesting. I know people are still playing it, but I did read, I think last week, that the player count for Halo has dropped significantly over the last 3 or 4 weeks, unfortunately. I also read that Battlefield 4 executives are blaming Halo Infinite for their game's lack of success, which is very sportsmanlike.
Well, that's not fair.
It's not fair that your game's more popular than ours.
Battlefield 4 just like took their tank and went home. They're like, fine, we won't have an online multiplayer shooter then. So that's going to be a wrap for the Halo news. I do want to touch on Sifu again real quick. I was on this podcast last week saying that the game was really hard. I was losing patience with it. I wasn't sure if I was going to see it through. I took a couple days off from playing it, and I went back, and I had the best runs I'd ever had. And something about Sifu has really clicked with me since then, in terms of the timing of the dodges, what combos to use on certain enemies, how to use the environment and items more effectively. So I was kind of like meh on Sifu before, but now honestly, it is just like one of those games that is a mood. Like I'm either happy, I'm sad, or I want to play Sifu right now. And the Sifu feeling is coming up way more often than it was a week ago. So I kind of just want to like glaze over that and just be like, Sifu is rocking my world. It's going to be really nice to have the open world of Horizon. And then I can also hop into the linear Sifu combat style kind of to take a break when I need to. It is really hard jumping from Sifu to Horizon because the punch button in Sifu is the duck button in Horizon. And a lot of the mapping, it just does not carry over. But besides that, I'm having a good time. Mark, was Sifu something you were looking at all?
Yes and no. Like, I'm gonna buy it eventually, but with Horizon and Elden Ring, like that is my main focus.
Yep. Oh, you were smart. You only got 2 games this month.
I gotta check my privilege.
Yeah. So Sifu, I'm really enjoying. Honestly, the main thing as well, it really makes me want to watch some like badass martial arts movies. So if anybody hasn't watched The Raid or hasn't watched movies like Old Boy, I highly encourage you to do so. If you like those movies, you might really enjoy Sifu as well. So that's a wrap on the games that we're playing. We covered Horizon Forbidden West, Halo Infinite, and Sifu. We have some news to hop into, starting with the very, very sad announcement that Nintendo is planning on closing their Wii U and 3DS eShops. I think this is awful. I think there are so many games that are digital only on both platforms that are now just going to be lost to the history of time. Even the physical games on Wii U are very hard to find. As most of us know, the Wii U was not a very popular console. So if 5 years go by and you have your old Wii U and you're like, I want to go find an old copy of Mario Kart 8, it might be surprisingly hard to find. I guess when it comes to game preservation and Nintendo kind of just like being like, sorry, pulling the plug. Do you guys have any kind of reaction to the removal of digital storefronts and how it can impact gaming as an industry? I guess Noah?
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if they're planning like something like what they did in that generation when they started bringing like N64 games to the digital store. Like, there's the idea that we we get rid of these old eShops now, but we bring back these games on the Switch eventually.
Mm-hmm. I think that could be something that could be it, but I think there's about 250 virtual console games on the Wii U and 3DS that are currently not available on the Switch. And at the rate that Nintendo is dropping these games, it'd be about 250 months before we had all those games on the Switch eShop, essentially. There are games like Chrono Trigger, Super Mario RPG, like some really, really hard to find physical and great games that are just kind of going to be swept under the rug for a bit.
You can. Do you mean Legend of the Seven Stars?
Yeah, Super Mario
You can
RPG.
get that on the. Oh, I didn't. I know this.
So the last time that game was officially released by Nintendo was on the SNES Classic, but they have not added it to the SNES Online service at all yet for Switch.
Uh, yeah, I played that on an emulator when I still
Yeah,
had the PC. That was a great experience.
yeah,
It's
it's
like
a
it plays like Pokemon kind of a little bit.
it's a great game. It's a turn-based Mario RPG. I think the cartridge by itself these days is about $90 to $110 to buy retail or to buy used. So yeah, we're just losing like a huge part of their back catalog. Even myself, like my Wii U is always plugged into my TV because I have so many old games on there from across the NES, SNES, Game Boy Advance, DS, N64. I think there's even like Wii games on there as well. I think I have like Metroid Prime Trilogy on my Wii U.
Right,
It sucks.
which eShop can I get Mario RPG?
Right now you can get it on the Wii U eShop.
I've got to download that while it's still
Yeah,
there.
I actually would have loved if Nintendo in their press release was like, "Well, this is what you get for making fun of the Wii U."
I know.
Hmm.
And as somebody who didn't do that very often, I don't know why I'm being punished for everybody else's sins, but
Yeah, but I feel more sad about the 3DS.
mm-hmm.
I never had a 3DS, but like, of course, when this news came out, a lot of physical games just got bought just so people can resell it for like 5 times the amount.
Yeah, it's awful. And the
And it's kind of
3DS,
like yeah, with the Switch, you can play some 64 and NES, SES, but it's like
mm-hmm.
only through this service.
Yeah, you
And it's
can't buy them
like people don't
piecemeal.
even want the service.
Yeah, you can't buy them individually. Like for me, I think a huge thing is if I could just buy one of the SNES games individually instead of paying for the whole service all the time, I'd be happier with that.
Mhm.
Going back to your thought about the loss of the 3DS eShop, we are losing some great games there as well. I think all of the Pokemon games from Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal are on there. A lot of the Game Boy Zelda games from Link's Awakening to Oracle of Seasons to Oracle of Ages are on there. These games are super hard to find and super hard to play these days, and the 3DS was such a nice machine to open up, hit power on, and you're in the game in 5 seconds. Like, even I want to shout out Metroid because there is not a lot of Metroid games available on the NES or SNES collection, and I replayed through all of them before Dread came out last year through my Wii U because they're all on the Wii U to play. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think Pinball is on there. I mean, yeah, it's just really sad. And obviously, I love Nintendo, and I'm probably the big Nintendo guy. I'm literally wearing a Mario hat right now. Um, it really sucks. I'm glad that I have the games I have, but I don't have the money to buy everything I'm missing before they pull the plug on this eShop.
And at least with some classics like on the Wii U, okay, classics in quotes, at least they got like ported to the Switch with the NES, SNES 64 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are going to be part of a service, but like 3DS, like I see only a few games that would actually go to the Switch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're losing a lot of Wii U stuff, but the amount of 3DS stuff is crazy.
Yeah. And the 3DS as well. I think that 3DS store still has a lot of the games from the original DSi store, if you all remember the DSi store.
Hell
So
yeah.
I think that's been running since about 2009, 2010, and that's officially going to be closed now too. So even a service they've supported for over a decade is now officially about to be just wiped away and never seen again. So I guess all I can really do is implore you, if you have a Wii U or a 3DS, just check out the eShop, because there might be a game on there that you've always wanted to play, or a game that's just really hard to find, and they really don't cost much on the eShop. I think your average Game Boy Color game might be like $4.99 or $9.99, which, like, a physical version of Pokemon Yellow is still like $60 these days. So I definitely encourage everyone to go out, dust off their consoles, see what they can find, and just pick up what they can for nostalgia or preservation purposes. Yeah. Any last minute thoughts on that stuff, guys? All
Not for me.
right. So the other big thing that kind of happened, CD Projekt Red teased something. I forget which day of the week it was, but they had a huge live stream. And first of all, you guys remember Cyberpunk 2077?
What?
You guys remember the memes of the people like falling through the road and the cops spawning behind you as soon as you did a crime?
Yep, I remember.
Was that part of the
wait, that
games
was
on
in the
like the Wii
game?
U?
Yeah, that was the Wii U exclusive Cyberpunk 2077. It's been about, well, that game came out, I think we were talking December 2020. So it's been about 14 months, and they finally dropped patch 1.5, which is the next gen version of the game for PS5 and Xbox Series S and X, as well as an update for the PC. And it sounds like this is the game that they intended to release 14 months ago. They've improved activities you can do around the map. They've improved conversation trees. They've improved how you level up your character. Like, everything has been revamped and repurposed. And the reaction I'm seeing on Twitter is mostly positive. The one thing I've read is that if you own the PS4 version of the game, the physical PS4 version, that disc is currently not working on PS5s. I don't know why, but CD Projekt Red is currently working on a patch so that you will probably be able to play the PS4 version on a PS5. Noah and Mark, was Cyberpunk a thing that intrigued you when it launched? Did you play it? If not, do you want to play it now? I guess, Mark, I'll start with you.
I mean, before it launched and before, all the critical stuff, yeah, that was probably one of the most hyped games. I'm not going to say of all time, but like during that launch, like 2018, 2019, 2020, it's like, oh my God, this is the game. And then it came out and just.
Is it fair to say that Cyberpunk was the Elden Ring before Elden Ring?
Don't put that evil on Elden Ring, Kyle. Don't you put that evil.
But every E3, every Game Awards show before it came out, it was like, come on, Cyberpunk. Like, everyone was dying for Cyberpunk information. And then it came out and it became the biggest meme on the internet for about a month and a half. Sony pulled it from their store. They never do that. They told people you cannot buy this game anymore because it is so broken.
Yeah, we don't want to make money, please.
They had to refund players. Like, I'm pretty sure Sony took a hit on that because I think they had to personally do some refunds themselves.
Yeah, I was hyped for that. Then I read those reviews.
Yeah, just awful. But so you guys have not played it at all?
Not at all.
So I do have it, but you'll never believe what copy I have. The PS4 physical copy. Guess what? Can't play the PS5 copy.
So have you experienced this error that people are having?
I haven't, because it's like, listen, I'm glad they released this patch, but what poor timing.
Yeah, the worst timing in the world. I mean, we're talking about this giant open world game, Horizon. Elden Ring is next Friday. Kirby is next month.
Woo! Like, I don't know what's the upcoming, like, quote unquote dead months. Like, okay, not like maybe just one major game release. Maybe April, June. Oh, I don't know. But
2022 is like a year where I don't think there's going to be an off month. I feel like this is the year where we're starting to see all the games that were delayed because of COVID, and I feel like it's going to be pretty banger after banger, week after week this year.
Which, will I play it in the future? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But am I like, oh boy, this is the game? No.
Yeah. I would like to get excited about it, but I just can't because I'm too excited for all the other games I have in front of me that are new games and not a year and a half old. I will probably boot up Cyberpunk again. Will I ever roll credits on it? I genuinely don't know, unfortunately.
And I also saw, I don't know if it's a bug or a conscious decision, that if you have all the trophies on PlayStation 4, yeah, you don't get it on PlayStation 5.
That
So shout out
sucks.
to Connor Mitchell. I feel for you.
Yeah, the Platinum King himself can't even get his platinum. Yeah. Noah, what about you? Like, now that this new patch is up, obviously it did not look good when it came out. Are you more intrigued by it a little bit now, especially as open world RPG guy?
A little bit, but is it on Game Pass?
It is not on Game Pass.
Well, $60.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk or $60.
I did see it was on
Hmm.
sale. It was on sale on PlayStation at least for $20 the day the patch came out. So they were trying to get people to pick it up for cheap that day as well. But yeah, like I said, it's cool that they did this. And I didn't play The Witcher 3, so maybe you guys know a bit more than I did. I think The Witcher 3 had a similar success story where it came out and it was maybe a bit broken, and then after a year they had updated it enough where people loved The Witcher 3 and were going head over heels for it. So that maybe this is just the CD Projekt Red pattern or game release style, but I don't know. It, like Mark said, is just the worst timing in the world. If this would have come out 2 weeks ago when I was only playing Pokemon Legends, cool. I'll play an actual open world game that has good graphics. Why not? But just overall bad timing for the Cyberpunk stuff. But we'll check it out. Yeah, that's it for news this week. Nintendo with their closing of the Wii U and 3DS eShops, as well as Cyberpunk is back? Question mark.
Mm.
The topic for this week, inspired by Aloy, who I think is one of the best new characters in a long, long time. I wanted to ask the panel about who their favorite protagonists were in video games, just in general. I wouldn't like Noah to go first because we were talking to him before the show, and I was curious to see what he had on his list.
Well, I'm to say TAC if I'm going first. But yeah, last week I talked about the
Yeah.
TAC games. Remember the first free, the 4 and 5 are post show is bad, but the original free TAC games, I love playing as TAC.
And not TAC from the TV show. Like you're talking about TAC, the video game character.
Yeah, when he was voiced, what's that guy's name? He was voiced by the guy that voiced Chester in Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh, not Chris Kirkpatrick.
No, that's.
I think his first name's Jason.
Okay.
Now I'm trying to remember who was Chester in Fairly Odd Parents.
He was one of Timmy's friends, the one that lived in the trailer park.
Yes.
Oh.
Was it like the original guy? I don't know.
So Chester McBadbat is voiced by
Jason Marsden.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it says Frankie Muniz here.
That's what it was like originally.
Frankie Muniz seasons 1 to 3, Jason Marsden seasons 3 to 8. Huh.
I had no idea 2 different people voiced Chester. Wow.
Man. I hope Frankie Muniz is okay. Just off topic. He's also one of my favorite protagonists just in the world. So I hope Frankie's doing okay wherever he is. Is there anything specific about TAC that makes you like, or is it just like he's a fun caveman character that you enjoy playing as?
Yeah, he's just fun. He's fitting for that world. Like I was telling you last week, like whoever drew and created this world the TAC takes place in, like that was masterful work right there.
Yeah.
Just you could spend like a whole 10 minutes just taking in the artwork, like looking around. It's I remember when platformers would be like in that cylinder. Of like, there's artwork here, but the map that where you're actually playing is here, but this way it looks like there's something there. Yeah, like just looking at that cylinder for these games is incredible.
Nice. Mark, do you have any nostalgia for TAC and the power of Juju?
Wasn't there a Nickelodeon show?
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
All right.
Unfortunately, there was.
According to
No, I
Noah,
don't.
the show ruined the franchise.
Well, it didn't root like it. I mean, they went back on like canon stuff. Like you can never really expect to succeed doing that. And I don't think the voice of Tack was the same.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sucks too. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we got Tack as Noah's number 3. Mark, what do you have as your number 3 favorite protagonist?
So this one, I'm not gonna say like basic. Okay, I feel like all my protagonists are basic.
Yeah.
But they're no like it's no Bug Snacks.
Oh, Bug Snacks.
Love Bug Snacks. By the way, they released a plushie, a Bunger. So guess
I've
what I
seen
want
it.
for Christmas, Kyle and Noah?
All
Wink,
right.
wink.
Gotta get your fan bite wish list going.
Yes.
Yes.
I chose Ellie from the Last of Us series.
Very good pick. Yeah. She came to mind last night. Not on my list, but definitely her and Joel came to mind. But why do you have Ellie as one of your favorites?
Just the transformation that we see through these first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
And the first game, yes, she is a playable character for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But the second one, just what Ellie is as a character, I think if this was like one of the best characters lists, she would be on there.
Yeah, if there was like a top 100 video game characters of all time, it's really hard to imagine a list where she's not in the top 20 to 30 at least.
Yeah, if we took off all the like, hey, this is like, you get rid of like the Pac-Man kind of characters. Like these are like the important characters in gaming history, but these are like the thematically like best ones.
Yeah, less mascots, more characters.
And you think like she is basically in the first game a companion character.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm not going to say like they're the worst, but it's like, oh, instead of like focusing on what you have to do, you got to focus on this person. And sometimes it's a bit of a drag. But maybe it's through the relationship with Joel, you really do get to care about her. But when she finally gets into her own, it just goes amazing on a whole different level.
Yeah, and I really want to shout out the standalone like DLC that has Ellie and her friend Riley. I think it's called The Last of Us Left Behind.
Yes.
It takes place before the original game, and it kind of explores Ellie's a lot of her origins as a character and a lot of like what makes her who she is. And it's only I think about 4 to 5 hours long. It's amazing. It's so well written, so well acted, so freaking tragic. Like it is just I'm getting goosebumps just like thinking about the emotions and scenes of Left Behind. Add on to that everything that she goes through in Last of Us Part 2, and you're looking at maybe also one of the most tragic characters in video games in recent history as well. Yeah. And Ellie is a good pick too, because man, I'm on the Last of Us subreddit sometimes, and the amount of people who have her tattoos, like she has obviously become so influential on so many people's lives. They get the feather tattoo on their arm. I see a lot of people doing Ellie cosplay on that subreddit. So she has definitely had a ripple effect on the gaming community in a really good way.
Wait, there's a good part of Reddit?
So surprising. Well, here's the thing about the Last of Us subreddit. Do not go there if you want people to like Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah. And that includes every website, including our own.
Yes. Listen, I really like that game. The further away I am from Last of Us Part 2, the more fondly I look back on it. I'm actually eager to hop back into it sooner than later, I think.
Again, super busy time for gaming, so I wanted to, but I'm like, what? I got Horizon. I got Elden Ring. I got Kirby.
When they announced Last of Us Part 3 in 2025, I'll finally get back on that saddle and play through those games again.
Or at least when the HBO series comes out next year.
Oh, right. Yeah, right. Oh, I'll definitely replay them before that, listen, I have a lot of video game adaptation pessimism in this podcast, but I actually have hype for Last of Us, the TV show. Also, we didn't talk one-off news story. Might as well do it here. That Fallout TV show, they cast Walton Goggins as a ghoul. Great casting. If anybody doesn't know Walton Goggins from The Hateful Eight, Righteous Gemstones, Justified, he is just a great actor all across the board. I can't wait to see him as a ghoul in Fallout. So Ellie was Mark's number 3. My number 3 is kind of topical because there's kind of a movie about this guy playing in theaters near you. Nathan Drake is genuinely a really great video game character. Despite the fact that he kills probably about 1,000 dudes a game, he has like great humor. He's very relatable. He's very down to earth. He's not full of himself. He's just somebody who I can look at and try to relate to, despite not having nearly half the muscle mass that he does. So Nathan Drake is my number 3 pick. I'm going for the video game version. My opinions on the movie are out there, and people know I don't really want to be a part of it. So the Nathan Drake from Uncharted 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think is one of my favorite characters, especially as somebody who started playing Sony games for the first time in 2013, and one of those first games was Uncharted. So I think there's also a nostalgia to his character as well for me. You guys have any strong feelings about Nathan Drake? Mark?
Great pick.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Like, I know. By the way, you do have the muscle mass, and I hate myself right now looking at you two. Bad hair. I have a hat on. In this light, I look like I have a double chin. It's not. I love podcasting, but not the best feeling right now.
Listen, the reason I have my arms cut off in the video version is so that you can't see my little like chicken leg arms. There's no muscle on them. They're just barely hanging on. Noah, what is your number 2 favorite video game protagonist?
My number 2 favorite video game protagonist is going to have to be Sierra 117, Master Chief.
There he is. With the mask on, though, right?
With the mask on.
Yeah. I feel like you're doing Batman voice for Master Chief. I actually really like it.
Yeah, I was hoping that'd be better. I can do Master Chief better than anyone that's ever tried to replace Steve Downs. It's because I've been talking so much, but my throat's now a bit too loose to do it. But
of course. So what about Master Chief? I kind of know what the answer is, but if you were to explain why he's your number 2, what do you think helps cement him in that spot?
Well, it'd have to be the symbolism I was talking about earlier with the mask. Like when that's on, you can picture him being you. And that's part of what inspires people to play Halo. You watch him do these incredible things and you can imagine that it's you.
Yeah.
And yeah, at least for me, that really helped me in life. Like, yeah, I'm on a video game podcast now because Master Chief taught me to believe in Noah Rosenthal.
I'm trying to think of, like, when it comes to console gaming, was there any other first-person protagonists that were popular before Halo came out? There's a lot of, like, third-person heroes, like Mario, obviously, and Crash Bandicoot. But before Master Chief, was there ever a character on console, not PC, that you're looking through their eyes and becoming? I guess James Bond and, like, GoldenEye, but, like, that's already a established character. So it came to me randomly. I'm wondering if that really helps him become a favorite character for so many people, because he was almost the first character many of us became.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else. My first person shooter would have been Halo Reach, and he's not in that game.
I say console because, like, there was Doom on PC, there was Quake on PC, but like even that is a little bit different than, like, you are playing this character through a story mode. Yeah. Mark, any thoughts on Master Chief as a character?
I've never played a Halo game.
Yeah.
So am I Master Chief? Can I be Master Chief?
Yeah, man.
I do cry a lot, so I don't know if I could.
Check your mail in the next week or two. I'll send you the official Master Chief newsletter, and then you'll be one of us.
Is it kind of like being a priest, or it's kind of like you have the ability to marry people? It's like you just have an online certificate, and boom, you're official.
Don't read the fine print on the thing I send you. Just sign it.
Oh,
don't
okay.
ask any questions. Yeah. That might be in there. That might not be. Yeah. Very cool. Mark, what is your number 2 pick?
It's fitting that you have a Mario hat. That I was gonna pick Mario, but I'm like, who's better than Mario?
Are you gonna say Luigi?
Am I gonna say Luigi? Of course, I'm gonna say Luigi.
Really? That's
yes.
awesome.
That's
that's cool. I love that.
I was gonna say, is that one of your picks?
No, it's not one of my picks. I'm so happy you picked Luigi over Mario, though. That's so great.
Because Mario's a great character, and it's like, do they have character? Not really. But I feel like Luigi has character.
He has
Either
personality.
in the Super Mario, in the Luigi Mansion, like he's a guy who does not want to do this. He is scared, he's nervous, but he gets the job done.
Can we also like remember like how aggressive he is at Mario Kart? Like, do you remember like the Luigi stare slowdown memes from like Mario Kart 8 when it came out
Yeah.
originally? Like
You
Luigi he has like a spectrum of emotions. He will like throw a banana peel in your face, or he will pee his pants while looking at ghosts.
exactly. And it's like you just want to give Luigi a hug.
Yeah. I mean, one of the best years of my life was the year of Luigi. I think that was the year 2012 when Nintendo was doing their, oh, hey, it's Dr. Luigi. Oh, hey, we're doing Luigi focused content for an entire year. Why not?
I was just about to say the year of Luigi was the best year of my life.
It was a good year. And they've never done that before. Like they didn't do it before, and they have not done it after, where they just choose a character and celebrate them. I'm still hoping that like 2023 will be the year of Waluigi. Like that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
I
But
just hope for the post-show recap's sake, year of Wario.
Year of Wario, that'd be good. Oh my god. So you have like Wario's mansion, which unlike Luigi's mansion is more of like a bachelor kind of mansion.
The ghosts are afraid of him.
That's a game I'd play. He's like Pac-Man. He would just like eat the ghosts.
And he would just fart him out.
Yeah, I love
That's
Luigi.
canon.
I love Luigi as a character. Like I said, Mario Kart. He has a lot of personality in the Paper Mario games. He's got very funny dialogue in those. Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, I think that's a stellar pick. Mario, you're okay, but your older brother actually has like personality. So
what's the
helps.
better game? New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii U or new Super Luigi Brothers?
I forgot about Super Luigi Brothers. That is the superior game for sure.
It is.
Yeah, I think the whole gimmick there was like 90-second levels. Like every level started off with the times running out sound.
And it was super hard. That was part of the year for Luigi. Even like Super Mario 3D World, there's all these pixel Luigis.
Yeah. There's like a Luigi. I think I actually had it. There's a Luigi themed 3DS that I picked up, and I think it had Mario and Luigi Dream Team pre-installed onto it.
Oh, he's a great character in those. That's a franchise that should probably come back.
I know. I love those. And speaking of Mario RPGs, we were talking about Mario RPG. The guy who made those Mario and Luigi games is the same director as Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo. And he was recently on a MinMax interview saying how he would love for one of his last games to be Mario RPG 2 for the Switch. So he said it. He put it out there. Maybe Nintendo heard him and will want to make a 20 years too late sequel to that amazing game. So my number 2 is a character that is probably not as well known as some of the ones we've said. I'm not sure if any of you guys have played the Yakuza games, but the protagonist of most of those games is named Kazuma Kiryu, and he is just like the nicest, wholesome man you'll ever meet, but he'll also fight 3 tigers at once and win that fight somehow. Kazuma Kiryu, for those who don't know, is like a very young member of the Yakuza who has really high morals and is really not patient with a lot of the bullshit that happens in that industry. So this is a character who, over the course of about 7 games, you watch him go from like low Yakuza rookie to the owner of an orphanage where he takes care of like 9 kids and he helps them with their like school troubles, and he's also still doing Yakuza stuff on the side. He's also a guy who's a lot of fun to play as because he's going out into his area and he's doing karaoke, he's doing baseball, he's doing side quests to help every civilian out he can. So for those of you who know Kazuma Kiryu, he's just so great of a person that he had to be on my top 3 protagonist list. And I think almost all of the Yakuza games are on Game Pass. So if you want to check those out, I would recommend starting with Yakuza 0, which will give you a good insight to his origin story, as well as kind of the Yakuza universe as a whole. So, you guys play Yakuza at all?
No, but now I want to.
No, man. I would love for you to play Yakuza and to get your feedback on it. It is one of the wildest, and I think Yakuza 0 is just amazing. So, Noah, what is your number 1?
My number 1 is going to be, believe it or not, an Elder Scrolls character.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
gonna say Sonic.
Yep, I'm the.
I
Yep,
thought it was going to be my number one. Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
who do you
my
got?
favorite protagonist is Martin Septim from the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
All right, I think you're gonna have to explain him to
Okay.
me. And I don't know who he is. Mark, do you know who he is?
A little bit, but hey, I love it.
Noah, let us know more about this guy and why he's your number one protagonist.
So Martin Septim in that universe ends up being a very Jesus-like character. Yeah, he's also very much like Jon Snow from Game of Thrones,
Mm-hmm.
which is really interesting because he was voiced by Sean Bean, who plays Ned Stark in Game of Thrones, the father of
Oh,
Jon Snow.
oh, very
So
cool.
I wonder how much, like, at that point when he was still on the show, like how much he knew about what Jon Snow's character would be, because it ends up being so much like Martin Septim. So,
Yeah, what's the
Hmm.
Venn diagram there? Like, what are the story paths that they share?
and they're both people that lived for most of their lives as regular average Joes, just thinking this is who I am. But little did they know, they find out. Spoiler alert! Eventually, they find out, and they're actually royalty, and
Mm,
they both find out, and they're technically the rightful heir to the throne, the current vacant throne.
yeah.
Yeah, and that completely changes them. It's especially well done with Martin Septim because he immediately finding this out, he becomes what the people of that universe need him to be. He becomes the hero they need, and leads them as their emperor, even though, like, no one had any idea he existed prior to this storyline taking place. And it's terrifically voiced by Sean Bean. I can do this impression as well. That hopefully that
Go
this
for
is
it.
better. Soldiers of Cyrodiil, the Empire will stand or fall by what we do here today. All right,
That's
that was
good.
okay. I can do a bit better. Yeah,
I guess my
like
If you
I
question.
do a
said.
if you do a good Sean Bean impression, you would also die.
I guess my question would be: is this the main quest of Morrowind? Is this like a side quest that you're doing?
Main quest of Oblivion.
Oh, sorry, Oblivion. My
Yeah,
bad.
later. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that a lot of people have nostalgia for that game. It's this different experience with really him being the main hero and you being
Mhm.
more of a background character.
Was this one of the first because I know Bethesda will have like a Liam Neeson in Fallout 3, or they'll have is it Matthew Perry in Fallout 4 or something? Was
Uh,
Sean yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure who you're thinking of, but yes, because Sean Bean was a major casting and a major role.
Yeah, was he like one of the first ones for Bethesda to like be like, "Oh, we got a big name to voice one of our characters."
Yeah, it's that era.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, I don't know much about the character, but it sounds like he's got like a rich history, rich lore to him. Quite the arc in the game, it sounds like too.
Yeah, like it, and a heavily inspirational guy. Like it's weird to be so inspired by video games, but like
Mm.
marching behind him to the Battle of Bruma, like that's an experience it right there. And that just goes to show like what a terrific protagonist he was. Because like out of nowhere, he's told you need to be our emperor now, and then he heroically leads his people against an army of evil.
I guess like my last question would be like, is this a role that Sean Bean plays where he doesn't die? It sounds like he doesn't die in this.
I'm not going to reveal that just
Oh
yet.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Sean Bean, so now I'm
Yeah.
really worried.
Yeah, I tell my friends, like, but because I do Master Chief pretty well, and Martin Septim, I need more practice with that one, but
Mhm.
I can do it. Like in the event I'm ever signed to replace Steve Downs, which would be a dream
Yeah.
come true, and honestly, like I do the voice better than any of the other actors do. Like going into that impression, I was like, no matter how bad it is, it
Yeah.
won't be worse than Pablo Schreiber's.
Yeah,
So
which I think
yeah.
I've heard his impression, but
Yeah.
it did not resonate with me at all.
Yeah, so I tell them like the only, like besides money, money, insurance benefits, of all and then all the parts where I agree that at any point in my employment, Phil Spencer can eat my soul. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'd ask. The only other stipulation is in the event there's ever an Oblivion movie, I get first rights refusal on the role of Martin Septim.
Yep.
because I kind of look enough like him to play him, so I'd be like, this is Noah Rosenthal's dream.
I'm glad that you have all of your terms already planned and sorted out. That way, when this does happen to you, you'll already be ready for it to negotiate.
Hopefully in one of our podcasts, I can do a better impression. It's Master Chief. You need to kind of have a gravelly throat.
Yeah, I'm gonna start tagging 343 and Paramount whenever we post the podcast, just to make sure that they're listening. Right. Mark, what do you have as your number one pick for your favorite protagonist of all time?
Well, it's interesting that Noah mentioned Jon Snow and Jesus, because mine is Jesus Christ Bible Studies 2.
What?
No.
I mean, I wouldn't judge you if your favorite protagonist was Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
great powers in the game.
Yeah, that's a story.
No, I'm so happy no one said it yet, was Ezio Auditore from the Assassin's Creed series.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me. Yeah. Okay, so this is a character who I've heard so much about. I had never played an Assassin's Creed. What is it about Ezio that makes him the favorite protagonist out of all the other ones from the Assassin's Creed games?
So just to go a little bit into my history growing up, I played video games, and I know I named Luigi as number 2. They had I played movie tie-in games and Nintendo games. There was character, and it's SpongeBob was my favorite protagonist if you asked me in 2007.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
In a video game.
Yep.
But then for Christmas, I got Assassin's Creed 2, and just playing as Ezio blew my mind. So in the main context of the Assassin's Creed, you have the first one, and you have Altair, and he's okay, but he's basic.
Mm-hmm.
In the second one, Ezio is this fully fleshed out character. He starts out as this fun-loving guy, hanging out with his girlfriend, and all of a sudden, his family is wrongly accused, and his brothers and his father is killed right in front of him. And that goes on that's Assassin's Creed.
Damn.
So he goes on this path of vengeance, and he joins the Creed. And then there's 2 other games. Technically Altair is in another game. Okay, not technically. He is in another game. And some of the other characters are... I was going to say, only Ezio, but now I'm wait a second. Cassandra is in another game, and this... Damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's a weird web.
So, Assassin's Creed 2 was so popular for Ubisoft, in my opinion. They made Brotherhood and Revelations just to have the character of Ezio.
Mm-hmm.
And you just see this character as someone who's just starting out in vengeance, and then he grows up to be a leader and this respected figure, and playing these 2 games, it's quite a journey. And spoilers, because it's okay, it's not spoilers. So in they even did a short animated movie about his final days as an old man growing, living in Sicily and going on one last mission.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so excited. And yeah, it's a terrible month for gaming for me. Or again, Horizon, Elden Ring. You got to stay focused.
Yeah, seriously.
But they just put out the Assassin's Creed Ezio collection for the Switch.
Yep.
I'm so excited to buy that.
So from what I'm hearing, it's his backstory and then his arc as a character is what really pulls players towards him.
Yeah, but there's also so much personality.
Okay.
It's not I'm serious. He has great banter. He's charming, charismatic.
No, I can
passionate.
See do you have some love for Ezio?
No, but I'm enjoying.
What? Well,
I wasn't sure if you were a fan
Mark.
Of the... Oh no. Do you know who voices Ezio by any chance, Mark?
I believe it is the same guy who does Sonic, Roger Craig Smith. I think that is his name. 3-letter. Pretty sure that's his name. I can look it up right now. But yeah.
Roger Craig Smith, the same voice as Sonic the Hedgehog does Ezio. That's crazy.
And that's why I feel like a little mad when he's not put up there in like one of the greats.
Yeah.
Like, of course, you got Nolan North, you got all these other actors and actresses who are great and should be in that list, but I feel like Roger Craig Thomas or Smith, why am I saying Thomas? Should be on there.
Listen, I've gone this whole podcast without saying Forza Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm so proud of myself.
You just said it.
I in air quotes, I air quoted it. Yeah.
People listening on audio, he did not air quote it.
Shh. Roger Craig Smith, yeah, with voice actors, everybody knows like the top 5. It's like the number 6 to 15 that like everybody knows the sound of their voice, but nobody knows the name of their voice. Yeah, like I was saying before, Ezio is one of those characters who, even as somebody who has never played Assassin's Creed, you can't be in this industry and not hear his name. You can't hear about the legacy. I mean, Ubisoft is porting these games to the Switch for a reason, because there's likely demand for them.
Yeah, like there's the remaster collection for Xbox and PlayStation. It just came out on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
If you are, I'm not going to say intimidated, because some people view Assassin's Creed as a Call of Duty. They just put one out and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Go play those games. You get all the DLC. You get 2 short films, including like his last days.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably like cheap.
Yeah.
Maybe not on the Switch. Like Switch is $40, but if I had to guess, PlayStation, Xbox, 20 to 30, maybe 40.
Is there a part about like playing on Switch that like really excites you? Like, oh, I can play these games I love like now before bed, or like now on my way to work or something.
100%. If I don't have to leave the bed and tilt my head up,
yeah, that's a win.
That's the dream.
That's a win. Well, very cool. Actually, I forgot about Ezio, and I kind of should have foresaw him appearing on this list, because I just know how popular he is with everyone. My number 1 may not be much of a surprise. There's literally a cutout of her right over my shoulder. I love Samus Aran so much from Metroid. Ever since I was a young kid, I got my N64 and Smash Brothers for my birthday back in like 99, I want to say. And when I booted up Smash Bros for the first time, I'm like, I know Mario, I know Luigi. Who the hell is the badass in the metal suit? And at the time, being a kid, we had barely had internet. We may have just got a computer for the first time that year. I didn't know what she was from. I actually didn't even know it was a she for a very long time, because she's wearing the armor. But I said, Mom, Dad, you got to buy me the game that this character is from. And every 2 weeks, they'd come back from Walmart being like, the staff says there are no Metroid games for 64. And I was just so upset. Eventually, I would get Metroid Prime, the first one for GameCube. My first time actually able to play as Samus outside of Smash Bros. And talking about playing as characters from their POV, like Master Chief, playing a first-person Metroid game, being Samus in that armor really helped make me bond with that character. And I really have to credit Metroid Dread with doing some really, really great character work with her in that game. Just kind of showing more of her trauma, showing more of what she's had to overcome to get to where she is today. I think Samus is single-handedly my favorite video game or character of all time, or protagonist of all time. I just love her morals, her values. She's badass. She can shoot like lasers out of her arm. What more can you want from a hero, really? So yeah,
she do razors out of 2 arms.
She can turn into a ball and jump.
Oh, okay, you won me over.
Yeah, can Ezio do that? I don't think so.
I mean, if he does a somersault, technically.
Oh, actually, yeah, he can swan dive, and that is pretty cool. Actually, I've never seen Samus swan dive before.
Not yet.
Not yet. Have either of you guys played a Metroid or played a Samus, or have you only seen her from from afar?
Yeah, for me, only in like Smash and Nintendo Land.
Yeah. Yeah, Nintendo Land as well. She has that great level where you're playing your Mii in the body armor and you're fighting like Kraid and Ridley and stuff. Yeah,
that one's fun, but it's a bit too hard for some players.
Because I think you need to use the gamepad to navigate where you're aiming, and I think that can get a little hard to stay synchronized with your TV.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and then Mark, you haven't played a Metroid before, have you?
Only in Smash, but I do want to play Dread.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it wasn't a problem for me, like there's more incentive. They just came out or will come out with like a difficulty mode. Like it'll be like a
Yes.
bit easier. It
Yeah, for
wasn't really the
anyone, yeah.
gameplay. It was more of like, I mean, of course, I can ask you, do I have to know anything about Metroid Dread before playing it?
Not really. It will do kind of like Forbidden West. It will do a recap of the first 4 games to kind of let you know what you need to know before you start the adventure. I would I personally played through the first 4 games before Dread, so I could experience her journey up to that point, but you can hop into Dread without playing any of the other ones incredibly easily. It's very intuitive. It will let you know what you need to know, and that's about it. But yeah, I love Samus. I actually even read the Japanese only manga. I read the English fan translation of that a couple months ago because I was just so invested. I wanted to know as much detail as possible about her. And I think there's like a 16 issue run in Japan in the early 90s about Samus that they released. So that was really cool. Did
And I
either of
think
you guys? Oh, go ahead.
And I think the cool thing about Samus is, you know how I mentioned like there's the legacy characters. Like, of course, you're gonna put Pac-Man and all these. Like, I feel like Samus is somehow both a legacy character and
Yeah,
someone like a phenomenal character with backstory and personality, even without like playing it, just seeing it from afar. When
yeah.
you have both of those things, come on.
That's a really good comparison. Like that's really good. It's like also like if they were to try and reboot like Pac-Man and it was like this is Pac-Man, he's a single father of 3. It's like a Miss Doubtfire situation. Like he doesn't
Buying
need
it.
a he doesn't need the same backstory that Samus does. What do you
Whoa,
have,
whoa,
Mark?
whoa, wait a second. Okay, Nintendo, I'm gonna pitch this to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pac-Man, he gets divorced.
Yes.
Hear me out. So, in order to see his kids, he acts like their nanny. He becomes Mrs. Packfire.
Mrs. Packfire. It was the exact plot of
Hello!
Mr. It was the exact same plot of Mrs. Doubtfire.
I'm gonna eat some ghosts.
Oh my god.
I have first right to refusal for that.
Yep. I think that's Naughty Dog's next project. Actually, I read a leak the other day. Last of Us 3, and then gritty Pac-Man reboot for Naughty Dog.
Yeah, people thought it was The Last of Us remake. No, 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 no. It's Mrs. Packfire.
Oh my god, I can't wait. Did either of you guys have any characters that almost made your list but didn't quite make the cut? Noah?
Yeah, I was thinking about Mario. That and I was like, yeah, that's outside of my pitch to do an impression of.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we have
Yeah.
to hire Chris Pratt to be on the panel for that. Mark, what about you?
We could have gotten Chris Pratt for the panel.
He messaged me and I was like, listen, man, I don't know if now is a good time.
You're not well liked, so
I'm like, if Charlie Day wants to hop on for a call, 100%.
Jack Black. Oh my god. Get
Jack
Jack
Black
Black
would
in
be
the
cool.
panel, Kyle. No pressure, but
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
but
Yeah.
I was very I'm not gonna say tempted when you said like, hey, we're gonna do protagonists. I wanted characters that weren't from other media first. It's
Hmm.
tempting as like Batman and Spider-Man,
Yep.
which they could have. The Arkham series is phenomenal.
Hmm.
I don't know if you know this, Kyle, but I talked a little bit about Spider-Man on this podcast.
A little bit, yes.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Like they could have gone on my top 3,
Hmm.
but had to stay
Yeah.
strict.
Yeah, I was also like thinking of like franchise characters like Spider-Man. There's another one I thought of last night that I was like, well, that's a movie first and then a game, and the game's good, but it's not like I'm not gonna choose Mad Max because there's a Mad Max video game, you know. I almost put Joel on my list. There are certain things that make me like that made me not put him on my list. He's probably maybe not. I like to look at myself as a Nathan Drake or like a Kazuma Kiryu. I don't really want to associate myself with Joel from The Last of Us sometimes. Sometimes I don't agree with that character's actions and I actively just like despise what he does in the first game, especially. But yeah,
But what
yeah,
a great beard you would have.
I know. One day I'll have that great salt and pepper Joel beard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a wrap for us for the KeenGamer podcast. Noah, is there anything you want to plug or where people can find you if they want to find out what you're doing?
Yeah, if you guys want to check out my YouTube channel, it's the Black Rose. If it doesn't come up searching that, then add Bethesda, and it'll be the first thing.
Yeah, and I will. I've been including the link to your channel in the podcast notes the past couple weeks, so I'll do that again for everyone as well. So they should hopefully be able to click the link and get right to your channel.
Thank you very much.
Of course, Mark. Where can people find you and follow your work?
You can follow me on Twitter at LilMarco512.
Absolutely, and we'll keep our eyes open for your Horizon review. I'm looking forward to reading that.
Hopefully probably by next Sunday. Like,
Yeah,
it's kind of tough. Like, you just can't play a couple hours. Like, I'm ready to write the review. It's like,
yeah,
no, you really got to sink your teeth in.
yeah. With the
And at
open
least
world
with like
games, yeah.
Guardians, like there wasn't side quests. It was just a linear story.
Mm-hmm.
So it was easier to like get through and write about. But this one, I'm sinking my teeth in.
Yeah, I like I said, I can't wait to play it today, and I can't wait to read what you think of it overall once you're done. You can follow me on Twitter at Shamakai. If you haven't already, please check out KeenGamer.com. You can check out all of our great work that we put there, whether it's video game reviews, guides, opinion pieces, and we also cover movies and TV shows as well. If you haven't already, if you can please give us 5 stars on Spotify, if that's where you're listening to us, it really helps us become more visible to people looking for video game podcasts. We really appreciate it. We will be back next week. Elden Ring should be out, or it will be out by next
Yes.
Sunday.
If it got delayed, I would be. How?
Well, I think they're still working on that server issue. I think I told you guys earlier that they're having issues with people using their servers to hack people's PCs directly, and I think that's still an issue they're working on.
I thought it was just like the other Dark Souls games.
It was Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, but I was under the impression from what I've read that they're using those same servers for Elden Ring. So they're still tightening that up before its release on Friday. So next Sunday, you can look forward to us talking about that, another topic, all the biggest news stories. Hopefully
Wait,
everyone out there. Ooh.
I forgot to plug something. This great YouTube channel called the 60-minute mark.
I was gonna bring it up eventually at some point, but
no, it's great. I love the first video. All honesty.
So I started a new YouTube channel called the 60-minute mark. The whole premise of the channel is to play exactly the first hour of the newest video games. I don't care if that hour ends during a cutscene or a conversation, or if I'm telling you a story from my childhood. Each video will be exactly 1 hour long. I believe that most players figure out if they actually want to play a game within that first hour anyway. So let me show it to you before you spend money on the game itself. So that's on YouTube at the 60-minute mark.
Are you going to do one for Elden Ring?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to do 2 before Elden Ring, and then Elden Ring will be my 4th video.
I'm definitely going to look out for Elden Ring because even though I'm so excited to play it, I have no clue what to expect.
Yeah.
So at least seeing the first hour, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to get. Perfect.
Yeah, and you can watch me die over and over and over again next Friday when I drop that video.
That's why I've subscribed.
Yeah. Please like and subscribe, of course. Same with Noah's channel. Same with anything that Mark does. We super appreciate any support we get from the listeners. Hopefully you all have a good day. Enjoy Horizon Forbidden West if you're playing it, and we will see you all next week. Have a good day, guys.